Hey friends and athletes, Coach Ryder of DHP Health and Fitness here today with you to go over everybody's favorite exercise. You know what it is. It is the burpee. Why people don't like this exercise, I don't understand. In fact, this exercise was not originally even an exercise. There was a gentleman, I believe his last name was Burpee, that created this exercise as a physical fitness test to see if you could do several of them in a row without getting winded or having our heart rates elevate. And some of us crazy people have started putting them in groups of 50s and 100s to actually make it a physical fitness challenge. So in our burpee, if you're not familiar with what the burpee is, it is coming down to the floor, placing the hands out, kicking the legs out, doing a full push-up, chest to the floor, pressing ourselves back up, either bringing one foot or both feet in simultaneously, coming up, full extension of the hips, knees, and ankles to a jump and reach overhead. Yes, there are a lot of other things out there called the burpee, but the standard functional movement definition of a burpee is that. Not a squat thrust, not an in-out, not a 7-step or a 9-step. Those are all different movements. This is the traditional and fundamental burpee. So let's talk about why this exercise is so functionally demanding. It is one of the few body motions that we can do that actually allows us to move our body over the most maximum amount of distance possible. Right? The more we move over distance, we move a load over that time, is the physics formula of force, right? So, what other movement is there? If I squat, maybe my head is moving 3 feet in distance, and I'm moving my entire body weight, 190 pounds, in that 3 feet. In the burpee, I'm going from 5 foot, 6, 7, 8, depending on the day, all the way down to the floor, all the way back up, all the way into the air. There's a much larger movement of my body and weight over that time, which is why it becomes so physically demanding. Some ways that we can do our burpee to get a little bit more fit. Let's talk about how to do the burpee first, right? So some key points of performance. We don't want to just jump and flop on the floor. It's not a sprawl from wrestling. It's not a duck and dive. It's a controlled manner, right? We want to squat ourselves down, bring our hands to the floor, kick the legs out into a good push-up position. Notice the balls of my feet are on the floor, right? My knees are straight. My buns are tight. My belly is up. I'm not saggy bottomed. I'm not butt up in the air. I'm tucked in nice and tight. From here, my body goes down to the floor. Just like with my push-up, I'm going to maintain my arms close to my body, staying out of that shoulder rotator cuff destroying position of hands to the outside. Fingers facing forward, elbows back, pressing myself up. There are two schools of thought: keeping yourself planked on the way up or rolling yourself up. I'm not personally a fan of this way. Not only is it functionally not good for you, but it's also unhealthy for your spine. It puts a lot of weird pressure in here, an uncontrolled space and a racing format of doing it for time. So I like the functional component of coming up from that push-up nice and straight. Whether we step up with one leg or both legs is really dealer's choice and rules of that workout, how they set those standards. Coming up tall. A lot of times we'll see athletes coming up from their burpee on the bottom and doing one of these. That does not count. That's not a full rep. One of the major principles that carries over from our burpees into all our other lifts, be it our cleans or our snatches, is it the idea of hitting this triple extension on the way up, maximizing our force deliverance from pushing into the floor, upwards into the air, making it a functional movement. So that's the movement points of performance for the burpee. Let's talk about some of our efficient ways of doing this if we are more of a competitive athlete. So as a competitive athlete, we want to try to shave time off of this. One of my favorite ways is what I call nothing on the floor at once. When I come down typically for a regular burpee, I squat, my hands are on the floor, my feet are off, my hands are on the floor. There's always something in contact with the floor. To get through these a little bit faster, especially in a sprint format, on my way down, once I get to the bottom of my squat, I want my hands and feet off the floor simultaneously as I jump into a push-up position. From here, I'm going to explode myself back up, hands and feet off the floor. So there are two little baby hops going on. I'm coming down and hopping flat and hopping back up. Right? So it's kind of, in some ways, taking that press out At the same time that I'm pushing myself in. Just shaving some fractions of time off from there. Again, from here, reaching up, touching and going, down. All right, just shaves a little time rather than going down, out, down, up, in, up, and breaking extra movements into position there. So think about that, especially if you're a stronger upper body athlete. That's gonna be a great way of moving through them. Also, is looking at your breathing pace too. Exhaling on the way down. Inhale on the way up. Will allow you to maintain core tension and have your breath follow your movement expenditures, giving a little bit lower heart rate, a little better respiratory rate, and allow you to keep moving through those reps for a longer period of time without gassing yourself out. Let me know how those scores improve, how your fitness gets faster, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy.